How you doing? Welcome home, all. It is Thursday, the 26th, March, and we are going into the weekend again. And here we go. Uh, quickly to get to follow up on the Tuesday show, and as the title suggests for tonight's show, we're literally in a situation where we have to find out if the traitor Donald Trump tacos again, if he tacos twice. That is what we are in. This is almost like a comedy of errors game of jokes. It's not even funny because, well, it's funny in the simplicity and the intellectual stupidity of it. Funny, not funny in the sense that we're talking about dealing with American lives and American soldiers, which clearly to me at this point, I don't think anybody's going to argue this, that there is definitely a percentage of this population in this country that they may say they give a shit about our nation's men and women in uniform, but they clearly do not. They clearly do not, because they're okay with this and whatever comes first. And I can't tell you how many times I've laughed hearing or seeing people post or talk about, oh, we have to make sacrifices, meaning somebody else's kids have to make sacrifices, meaning die or become injured or lose something, or I'll say it, or end up permanently injured over a lifetime in terms of their health. Because again, soldiers don't just die. Soldiers also get wounded, and sometimes they suffer wounds that they sustain and that they live with for the rest of their lives, degrading or minimizing and diminishing their capabilities physically. That's a fact. So that's all where we are right now. I do want this show to be shorter tonight. I keep saying that, but I ended up running up into that hour. But do my damnedest to make sure we're a little shorter, and just not for any other reason. Like I said, I don't want to do a show that's 10, 15 minutes dealing with heavy topics, and I give you sound bites and you get the hell out of here, and maybe you like and subscribe. Like, I can watch that for a little bit. I can like it and then move on. I told you, we are not that show. That is not what we do here. We deal with hard, difficult material in a conversational manner that is meant to stimulate your higher function and reasoning ability, because this is serious business. This isn't a fly-by-night TikTok video that you get the gist and the incredible meaning and comprehension in the snap of 30 seconds. Foreign policy, our foreign policy, and particularly the foreign policy of the United States, we are, I think it's safe to say and assume that we are the most engaged country and power on the planet when it comes to our involvement with the rest of the world. We have an entire apparatus of government for that and spend a lot of money to do that. And what I mean is, without going too far, because we need to get to the top of our show, top of our program, the other things, but we spend a lot of money, time, energy, and personnel in resourcing our diplomats, our foreign service people to engage with other countries, other powers, more so than, and I'll just make it simple. No, let's make it a European country like Italy. They're not as big as we are. They don't have the money we have, etc. Therefore, Italy does not have the same amount of engagement worldwide when it comes to their foreign policy apparatus. They just don't. They don't have that kind of money. The same with a South American country, Argentina, Brazil, or Latin America, other parts. They just don't. We do. So we're engaged that way, and we're all over the world, quite literally. So we require a lot of time, energy, and effort, and this is serious stuff. All right, this is serious business. There are people that spend their entire lives in the foreign policy arena, knowing it, understanding it, studying it, reading it, etc. I'm not going to say that I'm that guy. I'm not, but far more than most Americans, I am engaged that way, at least from my time as a young guy, as a child, growing up, wanting to know more about what the United States was, what we were involved with, who we were involved with, our partnerships, our allies, our wars, our alliances, obviously, NATO, etc. But I've spent a lifetime studying, reading, learning, knowing, and then obviously, the kernel of it, rests in the fact, I spent time historically studying, reading, learning, knowing, and that's what my degree is in, history. So let me stop there before I go any further because we're going to get into the meat of that. But tonight's show obviously will be to follow up on Tuesdays and talking about where we are with regard to this war that our president has engaged us in on his own without congressional approval. And that's not a statement to dismiss, because as I've said, and I think I've said in almost every show going back for a month now, Article 1 of the Constitution gives the power to conduct war to the Congress. That is Article 1. And the power to conduct or start a war rests with Congress. Period. Full stop. No debate, no argument. The problem is that Congress has allowed, and again, everybody knows that watches the show, I do not like Donald Trump. I think he's the sickest sack of shit that has ever sat in the White House. No debate for me. Done. But going back, we've gotten to him and what he has done, starting a war without anybody's approval, anybody's thought, because that's not what president's supposed to do. That's what kings do. And that's why we fought against a king and we revolted, and we conducted a revolution, and therefore we exist as a country. It's quite literally the purpose of our country, is that we will abide no kings telling us what we can do. It is about the people and who we elect as representatives that get to make those decisions, i.e. the Congress, Article 1. Article 2 is the presidency, the executive branch. And the power to conduct or the power to start a war does not rest in Article 2. Period. Done. No debate. So we will get into the meat of that. We'll get into the meat of where we are with this war, because again, it is a war. If you're stupid enough to fall for him telling you that it's an excursion or an engagement or an operation, then I'll say it. You're stupid. And you're lying to yourself, if not to everybody else. We're in a war. Period. So that's the meat of the show. But let's get to the fun stuff. The good positive stuff that you got to balance out the negative with. And this tonight's show in particular is going to be real easy to balance out. You know, and again, I do know that as my audience slowly and inexorably continues to grow, my growth is never overnight. It never has been in anything that I've ever done in my life. It is with time. It is with purpose. It is methodical. It is meticulous. It is disciplined. And it is inevitable that I will grow if I choose to spend time on something. I will get my result. I always do. Always. If I stay on it and I choose to continue to engage, right? If I walk out of here and I don't do another show for the other 4 or 5 years like I've done before, then clearly the number won't increase. But we are going to increase. And what I've noticed, and what I'm continuing to notice, you dudes out there, you young guys, you young Mexican guys in particular, thank you for the questions. Some of you are putting those into our chat and into the comments section of the show. Not a lot so far, but a few that were good. And I see you want to know more, you want to learn more. Nothing but love for that. Nothing but love for you, trying to at least not just jump on social media or something and just like argue back and forth or question because you think you know something. But I've had some people that have legitimately given me damn good questions to want to know more, to further their education, further their intellect in pursuit of good truth. Nothing but love for that. So we are going to grow that way. And for the record, you're in the minority if you're one of those. You are in the minority, but it's a good minority. It's a damn good minority, because I'd rather be in that minority than the majority of people that can't hold an attention span of 10 seconds. And that's what this show is for, okay? We're not that. So let's get down some fun stuff, some cool stuff. Got 2 things for you. One is, I just realized that one that I didn't put in the title, but the other is because it's been ongoing. So we are on the last Thursday of March. Next Tuesday will be the 31st, and that will be the last day of March. And if you've been with us for all of this month, going at least again for March, we've been doing and celebrating, acknowledging, supporting Women's History Month. So I only have 2 shows left, ladies and gentlemen, tonight and next Tuesday. And then I think what I'm going to do is hold off, and I'm going to talk about this point next Tuesday. When we get to next Tuesday's show, I'm going to elaborate, go further on Women's History Month and women's leaders, women's roles, women's icons in Mexican American, in Hispanic and Latina culture as a whole. We'll save that for next Tuesday. Okay, save that a little bit because I'm going to elaborate and take that further and do more with it, not just on the show, but in further content or some intellectual work that results in us celebrating or acknowledging and doing more for women. And I've said this a couple shows ago, 2-3 shows ago. I spoke directly to you guys, you men out there. If you're a Mexican male, Hispanic male, Latino male, it's absolutely asinine and foolish to not want your women, the women in your lives, whether they're your mother, your wife, girlfriend, daughter, sister, etc., whatever they are, it is foolish to not want them to or not see them reach their full potential and engage them in a way that they do reach their full potential, whatever that potential is. Whatever avocation, whatever career, whatever occupation, whatever pursuit, whatever hobby, whatever goal they pursue. Again, provided it's good. You're not supporting someone who's going to be an axe murderer. For the record, most women aren't axe murderers. It's almost always guys, right? But I'm doing this, and I said it to, again, I think 2 shows ago. For instance, if you got a daughter, I know it's not easy to tell your mom what to do. At least I know that's not easy for me. I don't tell my mom what to do. It's not easy to tell your sister what to do if she listens to you at all. It's not easy to tell your wife what to do, okay? It's a lot easier, and don't be crude here, but it's like if your daughter's underage, meaning 18 and below, then she's your daughter, and that means you can tell her what to do, kind of, right? I'm not saying be mean or evil, but you can tell your daughter what to do because she's your daughter, and hopefully that the things that you're telling her to do are good for her. So my point is, of those women that I've named, your daughter, gentlemen, your daughter or daughters are usually the ones that you have more ability to influence or direct that way. And we won't do it too much here because it'll take a long time and I don't want to save it for another show, but it comes from you, your wife, your partner, whoever it is, the mother in her life is going to do that. We all know women are going to take care of their children and advocate and take care of them for the most part, right? Don't give me any crazy stories, but we know in general, 90-something%, moms are going to take care of their daughters. Then after that is where the crux lies, where the real rubber meets the road. Who are you as a father? And what do you do to make your daughter the full version of herself that she can be? Is she just your little mija that you tell everybody she's pretty and she's this and that, and you don't put the same energy or time or effort or focus as you do in your son or somebody else? And I know I've said, and I've spoken to that a little bit. I won't rehash here, at least for mine, because I know I've got a daughter and a son. And it's easy to recognize that. I've seen it with friends of mine. Oh, my mija, she's so pretty. And really all they cared about was that she found a good guy. And that's all they really cared about. And maybe she went to school after high school. But that's the extent of it. I think we should want and expect more, way more. We should want at least as much as we want for our sons, at least. And I say at least because I believe in going 50+1. I believe in doing everything for my daughter that I did for my son +1. Because the truth is, men still run the world that way. It's not a debate. It's not like an assertion or a slap at anybody in the face, but it's still a reality. It's still a fact. So if women are going to get their full run and dads are going to teach their daughters to be the fullest versions of themselves as they grow into womanhood and adulthood, then dads, you need to give your daughter 50, at least 50-50 of what you give your sons, +1, a little bit more, a little bit extra. You're going to say, well, that's not fair. It's not exactly equal 50-50. Let's not play games here. The world's not 50-50 exactly. So if you're going to compensate and make a difference, you need to help your daughter out a little bit more and expect a little bit more of her that way. I'm not saying in an evil way, but that way. Expectation. How far can she go? How educated can she be? And I don't mean just in degrees or just going to a school, but how much do you expose her to? How much do you give her access to? How much do you bolster her capabilities? How much do you benefit her intellect? How much do you give her reach to reach her full potential in the career or the goals that she's setting? To me, and I'll stop here because we're going to get into the fun part, that's Women's History Month, to me. And I think, without going too far and exposing too much, as we've done this month, I've gotten some good comments from some ladies and from some dads. And I think we're going to expand and continue our emphasis and focus on developing and growing Latina women, Hispanic women, Mexican women beyond just 1 month. As I have said that before, it needs to be more than 1 month. We're going to expand on that. So if you're a guy, because I'm going to end up getting more guys, more men that watch my show. I understand that, and I love it. It's who I am. I'm not a female, so I can't speak to the female issues as well. Just knowing what I know, okay? The smartest man on the planet is the man who knows what he does not know. So we're going to expand on it, continue it, and go further with it. But for you guys, as if you've been here for a bit, if you've watched more than a few shows this month in particular, I've been giving you women, focusing on a couple women. The first 2 episodes, the first 2 shows we did in March, I just did 1 woman. And then I said, okay, this is going to go by quick. We need to, I need to make sure it's 2 women per episode, per show. So we're doing 2 women per show. We're going to do that again tonight. And then next Tuesday, because again, this is the last Thursday of March. Next Tuesday is the last day of the month. So that's all I've got left. So next Tuesday, I'm going to have to do something a little bit more. And I will finish up with the final lady or ladies for Women's History Month. But for tonight, this is about, it's been women from different countries, different ages, different careers, different perspectives, professions, world of sport, acting, human rights, music, popular music, global music, and with the second show we did going back, my memory does serve, Mrs. De La Parra, who is a musical conductor, music from the director's perspective. And tonight I'm doing 2 women that, and I'll just say it, they're like, at least from the perspective of like a norm or a value system in beauty, they are beautiful women. They're 2 models. Now, I've not done any models up until this point, but I'm not going to discriminate, and this is going to sound funny, but I'm not going to discriminate against a woman because she's beautiful or that she's good looking. Okay, I'm not going to do that either. Just like I'm not going to discriminate against women if she's ugly, whatever that is, right? And let's get too crazy here. But the 2 tonight are models, and I have not done any models. And I even wrestled with it coming into tonight because I said to myself, well, it's easy to just say, oh, those women are hot, or that she's good looking, she's pretty. It's easy to do that. And I haven't for the entire month of March because I didn't want it to be easy that way. What I want to do is, again, show a disparity or a diversity, better word, a diversity and an inclusivity in all of the different types of women that are out there that maybe are beautiful, maybe are pretty. These 2 in particular happen to be good-looking women. And as with always regarding Women's History Month for this month that we've been doing, they are women that I'm going to say it blatantly, they're on the surface, they're beautiful women, they're good-looking women, but I'm interested to see what they do in their profession, in their career, in their occupation as models, in the fashion industry, in the modeling world. I'm interested to see what they do. And that's why these 2 particular, and again, they meet my parameters, they meet my criteria, right? These 2 in particular are Latina women. They're Latinas. not specifically Mexican, okay, but they're Latinas. Actually, one is not even Hispanic, but she's Latina. And if you've been with me long enough or you know my show, I have broken down those specifics and explained or defined the differences in the three names or titles or characterizations, definition or descriptions. Mexican, Mexican American, Hispanic, or Latina. Okay? There are differences. One can be all of them, but not all of them are just one. Wrestle with that a little bit. So these two in particular are models. I'm interested to see what they do post-modeling. That's the trick, right? What do they do beyond this? Are they just pretty faces that go and model and they make some money and then, you know, they were maybe on the cover of some magazines and then they go off in the world, marry some soccer player or musician, and you never hear about them again unless they're married to somebody that is in another field that they see. And I'm stereotyping, but I think I'm stereotyping because there are some truths behind those stereotypes. So the two in particular tonight, one, they're not old. One's a little older, and maybe she's toward the back end of where she's going to be in her modeling career. I don't know, because models now can model up into their 40s and even 50s. And I think that's kind of cool too. You know, that they've got longevity. Again, they separated themselves from other models. They're the best at what they do. So again, in particular, what I want to see is what they do with themselves, what they do with their careers after they're done with their modeling career per se, okay? Per se. So the first one, and this one's going to be easy, and I'm going to say most of you guys, some of you guys are going to kind of know this one. If you do a little bit of digging, if you do a little bit of watching, she's there. So her name is Priscilla Ricart, Priscilla, Priscilla Ricart, Ricart. And for those of you that don't know or don't know linguistics, Ricart, Ricart, is kind of my name, Ricart, Richard. Again, that is Latinized. Hers in particular, and so she's Brazilian. So I'm not going to say specific. I don't know, but I think Ricart is like the Brazil or the Portuguese version of Ricard, Richard. My name, Richard, first name anyway. And so I think she's been doing this a bit. I didn't really see her. Again, I've been in a bubble of my own for a long time. You know, I'm older now, but now I get to do some other things, watch fashion shows. You know, I'm just aware of more than I was when I was just a dad. I say just a dad that was solely focused on developing my son and daughter in their goals, their education, their sports, their curriculars. So I see more now. But this gal, she's gorgeous. I mean, that's bottom line. She's gorgeous. I want to say she's at the back end of her 20s into her early 30s, something like that. Again, Priscilla Ricart. I actually have it here, so let me give it to you real quick. We're going a little more, relaxed, and I don't want to say slow, but a little more relaxed on this because I'm not as concerned about some of the other stuff, but I really wanted to point this out. So Priscilla Ricart, and she's 30. I was right. So she's right at 30, and she's actually been modeling for a long time. I think in her late teens into the 20s. So they start, earlier, and they go for a while, and some of them can go much longer than that. But I'm really interested to see what she does because, yeah, it's she's not just a pretty face and she's like a dumb blonde type and the stereotypes there, but I think there's something about her. She's inquisitive, and I think she's going to do more and use her fame, celebrity as a model. And for the record, her in particular, she's global. She's one of the most sought after models for fashion shows. And that's usually a metric to decide or define how big they are, how global they are. I don't know how much money she makes. I'm sure we can find that out too, but she makes a lot. She's sought after for runway shows at the highest levels of fashion. And I'd like to see what she does. I mean, I want to see where she goes. I want to see if she expands on her modeling career that branches out into other things, and I'm just speculating here, but because I don't know. I'm not that in tune that way, but maybe she starts her own line of clothing. Maybe she starts a fashion house. Maybe she goes into acting and becomes, an actress. That happens a lot too, right? Some well-known Charlize Theron, by the way, it was a model from South Africa, and now she's an Oscar-winning actress, globally known. And there are others. There are a lot of models that transition into acting, and we know them even more. So again, that's kind of where I'm going with this. I want to see what she does. I really do. She's very, like, in some of the few interviews that I've seen a little bit for getting ready for this, she's inquisitive. I think she's got a mind that's going to lead her into other things, and from a cross section of pursuits and wants. I think that's good. And I hope she uses her celebrity and the fame that she's acquired as a model to go into other arenas and better the lives of other people. That's where I'm at with all of this. The Women's History Month in general, right? And let's be clear, and I'm gonna say this, like, if you're a model, if you're watching this, probably not, there's mostly guys, right? If you're a model and you're watching this and you're listening to me, you're probably saying, yeah, I like that guy because he doesn't see us just as another thing, right? I don't. It's a career, it's a profession, it's a thing, but damn it, there's no reason why you can't do more. As I said at the top of the hour, if we're gonna see women grow, they need to have the ability to have expectation that they won't just be one thing only, and that they're capable of a lot of things. So I'm really interested to see where she goes. I think she's a little older than this next lady that I'm gonna name, but she's 30. The other one's younger. But I think she's been doing this long enough to where she's built enough of a powerful career in the modeling industry that she can actually launch into other avenues, other careers, other parts of fashion, or other parts of celebrity, where her name and her beauty is going to translate into bettering the lives of other people. I don't know what yet, but I think that's where it goes. And that's why I'm interested in seeing what she does next. Okay, so let me stop there. Priscilla Ricart, Brazilian model. We'll pump this into the chat or the comments later tonight. I'll add some links. And as always, and this is why I like YouTube, there's plenty of material on Priscilla Ricart you can look up. If you see her name, you punch it into YouTube and you're going to come up with a lot. So you'll be able to follow up. If you're my listener viewer, I'll give you the name. You check her out on your own. You make the decision on your own. Don't just take my word for it, but check it out. Check her out. And as always, like with the others, check her out. Go to, definitely for models, by the way, Instagram is a big deal. Go to their page, like it, subscribe to it, follow it, and support them that way. Okay, second one, her name is Laura Margesin. It may be pronounced a little bit different, because she's European. So Priscilla Ricart is Brazilian. That's Latina. She's not Hispanic because that means of Spanish origin, in language at least. Priscilla Ricart speaks Portuguese, and actually she speaks other languages, but she's from Brazil, speaks Portuguese, so she is Latina because Portuguese is a Latin language, as is Spanish. So if you didn't know that, you're a first-time viewer, make sure you understand that part, right? She's Portuguese from Brazil, or she speaks Portuguese from Brazil, but that means she is a Latina in particular. Okay. Next one, again, Laura Margesin. She is Italian, and I want to say maybe, I thought I saw her on something French. She may have dual, but she's Italian. And for the record, if you're Italian, that's about as Latin as it gets because that's where Latin comes from, right? Rome, Italy, the Roman Empire, the Roman period of time where they were, the biggest power on the planet in Italy. So Italian, specifically, the language derived from Latin, the language of the Roman Empire. So she's from Italy, i.e. Latin. She's Latina. All right. So not Spanish, not Portuguese. And I'm really happy with myself because I'm giving you that diversity of what it means to be Latina. I'm educating you. If you didn't know already, if you do, great. I'm reinforcing. If you didn't know, that I'm educating, and that's good too. But she is Latina as well. She's Italian, but she's Latina. Latina doesn't mean just that you're South American or from Central America, because that's a different term that I use, that I've expanded on. I use the language because the very term Latino, Latina is what? It's Latin, Latin. It's derived from the Latin language of the old Roman Empire. So, as far as I'm concerned, you can try to prove me otherwise, but you're going to be wrong. Laura Margesin and Priscilla Ricart are both Latino women. Okay, lastly, to finish up here on our women for the month, for this day, Laura Margesin, Italian. She's a little younger than Priscilla Ricart. I think she's more at the beginning to midpoint of her career in modeling, and not in a negative or disparaging way at all. But I think Priscilla Ricart is more on the back end because she's been doing it longer, meaning she's done it far longer. Laura Margesin, I want to say is, let me get the age on her. Should be able to pull it up easy. Or not. Where are you? Not the Instagram. Instagram doesn't always have that stuff. Pull it up. 25. Oh. Okay, interesting enough. So she's actually born in the U.S. Yeah. So she's 25, born July 5th, 2000. So she's creeping up on her 26th birthday. Born in the U.S. I think her parents were, I want to say, like I said, dual. I'm not going to go too far here, but so she's in Italy. Italian is the ethnicity. That's what they've got listed. But she was born in the U.S. So she's a United States citizen. Because if you're born here, unless you're in the cult and you don't like people that were born here and claim citizenship, she's 25, going to be 26. So I think she's more at the beginning to midsection of her career. And so I'm interested to see where she goes with it. She, again, like some of the other models, she speaks multiple languages. I've got respect for that. You should too. It requires intelligence to speak multiple languages. That's just a fact. And so I want to see what she does with her career. Again, same thing, pretty. I will say this too. What I thought was really pretty about her, obviously the figure and all that, but her skin color. It's like, so it says, she characterized as Mediterranean. So a little olive to darker skin color. And it just works. I mean, it's like, so I'm not super light. Obviously, I'm a dark guy. So I like something in the middle. Personally, my personal preference, something in the middle, not too dark, not too light, a zone, right? Not to say that I'm totally averse to anything else, but that's appealing to me. Okay, so let me stop there. So Laura Margesin, Priscilla Ricart, both Latinas for Women's History Month. And I want to see what they do with their modeling career and the fame and the celebrity that they're gaining right now. I want to see them do something significant, important, beneficial to all, humanity, not just a field, an industry, make some money, eat well, travel to places, be cool. I really like it when people that can do that don't just do that. I like it when they go out of bounds and do additional. They grow intellectually, culturally, socially. I really love seeing that. And I'm not going to go too far on a limb here, but I think those two ladies that I've just named, I think Priscilla Ricart and Laura Margesin, at the very least, have potential to do that if they're not doing it already. So keep an eye on it. Young dudes out there, good-looking women, easy on the eyes, right? It's an easy call tonight. But let's pay attention and give them support, and go to their Instagram page. Like I said, follow, punch in on YouTube. You can see them visually. They're pretty, but support them and let's see them grow beyond just one area or arena or field, and branch out and use the celebrity and the fame and the acknowledgement that they get within the modeling world. And let's see them take that bigger and do some incredible things with it. Because like I said, there are models that do that. Not all, but there are some that do. They get bigger, they go into more, and they're involved on a global scale doing positive things for a lot of people, not just themselves. And I really, really, really like that. All right, that's the bottom line. And that's and finishing up here, that's my point for all of this. I like when women go beyond just the simple and they do more. but they can only do that, one, if they want it. Obviously, it's got to be them if they're going to do that. But two, with support and with help and with the growth that is given to them by others. I'm saying, I'm going to be blunt and simple here. I'm telling young dudes, get your asses out there and support women that can grow beyond what they're doing in just their one field. This one's easy. This is easy stuff right here. Just go to their page, go to their Instagram page, check them out, like, follow their pages, subscribe to their channels, whatever it is. Let's see them grow. Let's help them grow. And let's see what they do beyond just their particular arena and field. And again, like at the very minimum, they're good-looking women. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. You're going to like that, obviously. But let's support them so we can see them grow beyond just the physical and the visual to something more than just, one field, one industry. All right, because I think they're going to do more. Anyway, Laura Margesin, Priscilla Ricart. Those are the two Supermex women for Women's History Month on this Thursday, the 26th of March. We'll finish up and wrap up our section on women's history this coming Tuesday next week. Look forward to that and finish up with a couple women that also deserve attention and are also ready to grow. Okay, let's moving on to our B block, I guess we'd call it. And this is real quick. I didn't punch this into the title tonight, but for those of you that don't know or haven't, or you're not paying attention or you're not in that arena or that area, today is opening day for baseball. Now, I'm an old wrestling coach. I never really got to play baseball. It was too much. It was too involved. It was like, it cost, in baseball costs. And it was too much, too hard for me to be able to do, it was hard to do any sport. I'll say that. It was just not easy. Maybe if my dad had lived, maybe, I don't know. But when it was just after my dad died when I was a boy, and then it was just my mom, it was not easy to just do all kinds of stuff. And my mom had to work, and I had to get home to take care of my brother and sister that are younger than me. So there wasn't a lot of sport that we got to do, even though, I don't want to say this openly because I don't want my mom to take it the wrong way, like she couldn't do that. But there's only so much she could do. I mean, she fed us, she clothed us, gave us an opportunity, taught us right from wrong, taught us good lessons. That's more important than anything. But baseball was, I'm going to say it, knowing what I know now as a father and as a coach of other sports, baseball is really involved. You're going to be good because there's so many people that play baseball and there's so many good people. It's hard to stick out and be more than another and work your way up those ranks. But I'll say this, I always loved baseball. I always loved it for the nuance, for the complexity of it, for the difficulty in a lot of different ways. It's not simple. There's just a lot to it. I always appreciated it and loved it. And so I do love watching it now after a long hiatus of not watching baseball. I do watch other sports, but where I'm at now, I don't watch the NBA as much anymore, almost at all. I've kind of fallen off there. Like NBA is like, I watch football, not religiously every single weekend. I do. I follow the Rams. They're my team. And incidentally, so I'm getting to this point. So today is opening day. And as I'm sitting here talking to you, I've got my phone up and I'm able to watch a game of my team. And so if I haven't said it before, if you don't know, put it on record now. I'm a Dodger guy. No, I think I have said it. I think I mentioned that there's only one sport that while my dad was alive that he obligated me to, or one team. It was the Dodgers. And if you know, you know. If you're a Mexican in America, you kind of know. I'm not saying that all Mexicans are fans of the Dodgers. I'm not saying that. But I will say the Dodgers have a disproportionate amount of fans in the Mexican-American community of this country. A large amount, a large number. I'm one of them. So I love watching my Dodgers. I love watching in particular more. Up to about 3 years ago, I didn't watch every day. I didn't watch baseball like all the time at all. But when they got Ohtani, and there's only one person that knows because I said it to him before it happened. I said that if they got that guy, the Dodgers, speaking of Shohei Ohtani, I said, if they got that guy, I might watch again. because I was tired of watching the way it was done before, the old ownership, and even some of the leadership, manager, etc. Got tired of watching and then watching them choke. And I'll just say it, and I'm a Dodger fan, but they would choke. And I got tired of watching choking. And as I told my producer before we got over today, I don't do that obligatory, they're my team, ride or die. And I don't know where you guys get it. Maybe I'm old, but this ride or die thing, what the hell is that? Ride or die. Esta la chingada. You're die, ride or die. Stupid to me. Anyway, no one gets that with me. I don't do that for any team. You want to know why? They ain't paying my bills. They ain't coming to watch my shows. You're like, well, who are you? I'm a fan. But that doesn't mean that I have to be a blind, loyal sheep fan. If I'm going to support you, if I'm going to believe in you, then damn it, you better do it right. And I don't think that's wrong. I think that's good. So if a team blows, a team sucks, and they're not doing anything to better themselves and they keep choking, then there's no obligation. There's no contract that says I got to keep watching. I'll say the hell with you. I'm out of there. Hell no. And I got kind of to that point, and I've been a lifelong Dodger fan since I was a kid, watching the damn 77 and 78 series with my dad before he died. That's how long I've been a Dodger fan, since I was a kid in the early 70s. So I've been a fan for a long time. But I was really tired. I'm like, the hell with this. And then I told a buddy of mine, true story, be famous sometime later. I said, if they get Ohtani, I might actually watch them again. And he was like, why? And I said, I think they'll be a better team if they get him. They were already, Dodgers were a good team anyway. They're good. They already had won a title recently in 2020, and then they got robbed in the Houston garbage where the Astros were cheating. But they're already a good team. But I said, if they got Ohtani, I'll watch. And I said, and it won't be for the team per se, but I'll watch just because it's Shohei Ohtani. And I told my buddy, I was like, I like everything about this guy. I like the way he plays the game. He's humble. He's respectful. He plays the game right. He treats people well. He's just a genuinely good dude. He doesn't act like a punk. And then, oh yeah, he does some things on the field that no human being has done on the field maybe in 100 years, if not ever. He pitches and he hits at the highest level in the game on both ends. He's already won MVP awards just for the hitting. He's the first player in the history of the game, period, to hit 50 homers and steal 50 bases, and almost won 60 bases, by the way. First player to ever do that, ever. So that by itself. But now that he's back after the surgeries, and now that he's pitching, if you watch him pitch, just if you're not a Dodger fan, just for the sake of the game, if you love baseball at all, watch Shohei Ohtani pitch when he's on. And he has some of the best stuff, strikeout stuff in the game, period. He's on an elite level, top 3, top 4, top 5 pitchers in the entire league. Now, you combine that with what he does as a batter, and then you understand where I'm at. That is why I said I would come back and watch baseball if they get this guy. And they got him. And this year, starting tonight, he's not pitching tonight. He's hitting, but he'll pitch in a few days. But starting tonight, I'm interested to see what he does now that he is healthy. He's had Tommy John. He's had 2 surgeries on his arm. He's fully healthy. He's going to hit and pitch the whole season. And as I said again earlier today with my producer, if he stays healthy, I think he's going to have one of, if not the greatest single seasons in the history of Major League Baseball, period. Because if he just hits a little bit like he did last year, and if he pitches a little bit capable of what he's capable of, he's going to have probably the greatest single season by any baseball player in the history of the game, pitching and hitting at that level. They joke about it, but he's like that super stud you go to the high school game that pitches, strikes out like 12 guys over 8 innings, 7 innings, and then he hits 3 homers in a game. He does that at the major league level, where it isn't done anymore. You can't, because as you go higher and higher in level, the game gets more difficult. The game gets more separate and separated into its categories. So those types of baseball players, have to make a decision. Am I going to hit or am I going to pitch? Because I cannot devote all my energy and talent to just one of those things. I can't. It's too much. And so they have to choose one or the other. Ohtani's doing both. The pressure and the stress and the toll on a body is incalculable, so much so that no one on this planet other than him can know what it does to his body, let alone his mindset, his mental, okay? But there is nobody on the planet that is doing what he's doing, and we can't know. We can only guess that what is being done to his body, the stresses, the pressures, the difficulty of hitting and pitching almost every single day in a Major League 162 baseball season, game season, is beyond calculation. Therefore, I have the most and the highest amount of respect for any individual that I've ever had in a sport. You heard me correctly, in any sport. Decathlon, maybe, something like that, but no other major of the three sports, soccer either. No, not even close. There is no one on the planet that is doing what this guy is doing at the very, very highest level of one of the most recognized and played or advocated for games, sports on the planet. It's this dude. So looking forward to this season with the Dodgers, looking forward to what Ohtani does. If the Dodgers go on and win another title, obviously I'll be happy. They get the three-peat. That hasn't been done in a quarter century. Awesome. But I'll say it. I started watching the Dodgers again, hardcore, because of Shohei Ohtani. And my love for the game right now is more predicated on him as one person than it is on any other, including, do I love him more than the Dodgers? I won't say that, but it's right there. I don't love him like in a person. I love what he represents. I love who he is. I love how he goes about his business. I love how he goes about the game. I love what he represents to young people in America and all over the world, looking up to this guy, wanting to be like him, because that is an awesome responsibility and an awesome possibility for more. And if you're paying attention, if you've been watching this show, you see what I just did there, because you've been on for a little bit here. It goes back to what I said about the two models at the top of the hour. It's the same here. Same thing. I'm really, really intellectually intrigued and inquisitive when it comes to what you do with what you are given. If you're the greatest baseball player on the planet, what do you do with it? If you're the most beautiful model on the planet, what do you do with it? See where this goes? And if you've stayed with me, and if you've been here, we're already way this went by quick. If you've been with me, you understand why I am the way I am and why this show exists. What do they do with it? What do we do with it? The it being the sum total of all our parts, our intellect, our capability, our career, our profession, our goals, our objectives. What do we do with it? That is quite literally all of it. So let me stop on baseball. This has gone real far, real long. It went by quick, but cover the two models for Women's History Month. I'm talking about Shohei Ohtani on opening day for baseball, Los Angeles Dodgers, go Dodgers. And I think maybe what I've done tonight is I ended up spending more time on things that are objectively more fun to talk about than the fat orange traitor in the Oval Office taking young people to war. Yeah, it's so let's do this. I am going to finish it. We're way past what I thought I was going to be in those two A and B blocks. A block for the models and Women's History Month. B block for baseball and Shohei Ohtani. And C to wrap up, because we're going to wrap up. It's not going to go long, obviously. Maybe I just didn't want to talk about this garbage. Maybe I don't want to talk about starting a war for no damn reason other than your name's in the Epstein files, and, oh, let's distract the American public and let's try to go steal some oil like we did in Venezuela for free and go attack foreign countries illegally, unconstitutionally. Maybe that's where I'm at tonight. I think that is where I'm at tonight. That's not a think. It is, obviously, clearly, objectively based on the amount of time I spent on the other two things, the other two items for tonight's talk. But this is what I want to give because it's at the title of the show. The question is, because we were here last week, exactly 1 week ago, last Thursday, and Donald Trump made a threat to the Iranian people, Iranian government. Let's not say the people, the government, different. The people are always different, ladies and gentlemen. I can tell you point blank, there's someone in Iran right now, an Iranian person, and I'm going to speak from the guy perspective because I'm a guy. There's a dad, a husband right now, a son right now, a brother right now in Iran. He's Iranian. But that dude is like me. That dude is like you. He has a family. He raises kids. He's trying to live. He's trying to work a job. He's trying to earn enough to pay bills. He's trying to do enough so his kids have a shot at whatever it is they choose to do. He's trying to exist and trying to do that in a way that isn't detrimental to his family. And that is fundamentally human. And I don't give a shit what he looks like. I don't give a shit what his color is. I don't give a shit what his language or accent is. That is human. And that is the same as me or you. And he and I, that guy and me, that guy and you watching my show tonight, because if you're watching my show, you're not one of them. That's point blank. If you're watching Supermax Nation right now at 7:24, this deep into a show, if you're watching right now, you're one of me, whether you like it or not. Well, clearly you like it because you're still here. Okay, but you're one of me. You're not one of them. You're not one of them that sit in those offices and make those decisions to send kids to go die, and they don't give a shit about what happens to those kids. All they give a shit about is their bottom line, how much money they're making, how good they look, and how much more power they can create. And that fundamentally is un-American. It's un-American and it's inhuman. Because as I'm telling you right now, point blank, you and I, you and me, my viewer watching right now, my listener, we're more like that Iranian dad or mom that's just trying to live, earn a living, feed their kids, pay their damn bills. We're more like them than we are right now the people running our government. And if you want to argue with me that, if you want to argue that point, you want to say that you are like them, then by all means do so. By all means, please be that. But don't watch this because it ain't for you. All right? I'm regular. I'm human. I'm not inhuman. I'm not irregular that way. So all that's left for this weekend, going back to last week, is does the traitor, Donald Trump, taco again? Does he give up his taco again? Does he go taco again? Trump always chickens out. You know the acronym. Does he do it again? He tacoed last week. And here's the rub. The conundrum. The mystery. And a miscalculation. Does he taco again? And if so, he looks even stupider. He looks more chicken, more coward, more weenie, which he is, by the way. I've already said, and I put it on record, he's not a tough guy. There's nothing tough about the guy. He's 6 foot, whatever, 300 pounds of candy ass. Stacked. If he doesn't taco, if he doesn't chicken out, and he says, and he sends 3,000 or 4,000 members of the 82nd Airborne, my son's division, when he was in, or the expeditionary group of Marines from Camp Pendleton here in California. If he doesn't taco out, then by the very nature of it, he's sending kids into harm's way. He's sending kids to get on the ground in Iran. Now, I don't know, and I'm not going to wish it. I don't want it, clearly. I don't believe we should be there at all, period. I've already been pretty clear about that. And it has nothing to do with my dislike of Trump, because I don't like the guy. I think he's a sack of shit. He's the worst president in the history of this country, period. So put that to the side for a second. I don't think this is smart in a variety of ways for a variety of reasons. There is no clearly stated objectives. There are no end goals. There are no clearly defined strategies to tell us where this finishes, where this ends. There's nothing like that. We have nothing that they've stated. It started out as, oh, this is an excursion. Oh, this is we're going to degrade their capability. We're going to harm their nuclear capability. I haven't seen any of it. I do know that a lot of people are making money while American people are paying for it. I said that last week. The Trump family has already profited off of this war from a variety of ways, including betting and investing in weapon systems and other things that we're now using all of a sudden. The start of the war, when did it happen? Somebody bet in advance that it would start at this time. They made money off it. There's almost too much. But as of right now, and I've said this before, and I said it last week, this could end up as the worst military action in American history. Quote that, remember that. I know it's hard to see with clarity in the moment that these things are taking place. I know that. I know that's difficult. But you have to remove the emotion. And you have to rationalize out what, I know it's irrational, want to not see bad things happen. I don't either. And servicemen and women, in harm's way, but we are already on track with what we have seen the last 3 weeks to head toward what will be or be seen as the worst military blunder in our nation's history. And you can begin, and I'm going to stop here, but if you can begin to understand that, put that in your register right now and begin to calculate the possibility that why, from the simple fact that we don't have to do it. We don't have to be there. We don't have to send our kids there. So the very nature of something, you're making a mistake by doing something you don't have to do or that you shouldn't do. That's the nature of a mistake at its core. If you have to because you have no choice, then it's probably not a mistake. You're going to have to do something. That's not the case here. No one's believing, rationally anyway, the American people as a whole don't believe that this was entirely necessary. There's an imminent threat. Iran's going to attack us tomorrow. There's nothing that shows that. No evidence, no credibility, no data, no facts, nothing. There's nothing that shows us that there was nuclear capability tomorrow, that they would launch and they'd be able to strike us with a nuclear weapon. Nothing. There's no evidence even of the fact that they were going to shoot a pop gun at us. Nothing. That is the nature of a mistake. And that is what this is as of right now. So let me stop because I've gone plenty. This is what I'm asking of you, what I want you to do. Remember I said this is the Thinking Mexican show, the Thinking Man and Woman show. This is what I want you to do as we go off into the weekend. Ask yourself the question, does he taco again? Does he re-taco? He's already tacoed once. He already chickened out once. You make a threat, you learn to execute the threat. Because if you threaten people and you don't execute what you said you were going to do, then you just look like a chicken. You got no spine, and people don't believe you. So he's already done it once. He already tacoed once. He gave the taco once. I'm asking you to ask yourself the question, does he give the taco again? Does he do it again? And lastly, if he doesn't taco again after a threat, I think that he said 5 days this time. He's given them 5 days. And I think we've already done 2 or 3 days. So it's sometime over the weekend. I want to say Saturday night or Sunday. If by Saturday night or Sunday, Iranians don't do what he wants, that he's going to do something. And again, lastly, if he does something, he is going to put American servicemen and women, our kids, in danger. We've already lost 13 with hundreds wounded. We've already killed 1,500 people, not Americans, but theirs. And that's still wrong too, by the way. I don't give a shit if they're not American. You don't just get to kill people because you want, for no justification. But that is the consequence. That is where we are. Does he taco? Does he re-taco? again? And if he doesn't, are you okay with it? That's the question you got to ask yourself. I know where I'm at. I think it's obvious and simple. You know where I'm at. And yeah, in a way, I'm asking you to be with me. I think you should be against what he's doing because he's going to get more Americans killed, period. That's what I want you to do over the weekend. We're done for tonight. Quick summary. Women's History Month, our two ladies for the night, Laura Margesin, Priscilla Ricart. Opening day baseball, Shohei Ohtani, Los Angeles Dodgers. That's for me. And does Trump re-taco? And if he doesn't, does he send our kids to foreign shores and put them in danger? Because we know he won't put himself or his kids in danger. Those are the questions you ask yourself this weekend. One special thing that I'm going to do, I've been working on a playlist for YouTube, so easy, obviously, platform. Been working on a playlist of great music that is anti-war or anti-government. Great list, by the way. You're going to love this list of music. Awesome songs going back, back to the 60s and everything in between. That's a fun thing I've been working on. Again, we're done for tonight, but pay attention. Does he re-taco or does he send our kids in and put them in danger of dying? More Americans. Nothing but love for you. You have a good weekend. Have some fun watching baseball. Do something good. Do something fun with your family. Try to keep your head out of the garbage, but don't bury your head in the sand and ignore it. Right now requires spine on the part of the average American. We got to call this shit out. We got to say it's wrong. We got to say it's bad. And we can't allow the MAGA cult to dictate the narrative of what happens in this country. That's how you fight for your country. Not even asking you to pick up a rifle. Fight for your country, but not taking their bullshit. That's fighting for your country. Number love for you. I'll see you next week.